Hello, today we are going to be changing the BOA system on a CT and CTW seat. Start by removing the cap on the lumbar system by removing these small black screws. Okay, now just take all of your hardware and put it off to the side somewhere where it won't get lost. This is your BOA line. It is starts at your BOA internally. It's tied off. Then it exits the BOA and goes all the way around the pulley. There are additional line that makes up the BOA system or the lumbar system, but we're not going to do all of that. We're just going to replace the BOA. So you're going to need a flat tool. I'm using an envelope opener, and you're going to pry that in the gaps between the BOA unit. So there you see, there is a gap, and you're going to wiggle that tool side to side until you run into a wall. You're going to hit something, and that's what you're looking for. Once you find your dead end, you're going to lift your tool out and put your tool on top. You're going to push and lift. So you're looking for one of those four mounting points. You're going to put your tool on top like that, push and lift. And I'm just going to grab some scissors and just cut the knot off. Now my BOA is free. Now I just have to remove the line off of the pulley. There's a line, and you should be able to reuse this as long as you just cut off the knot. So this is how you tie the line around your pulley. You're going to open up the loop and put both ends of it through the loop, and you get a nice knot. So around the pulley, open up the loop and put both of the ends of the string through it, and that should hug the pulley. So here I'm just trying to even out the length of the lines a little bit. In the end, that won't really matter because you're going to have to adjust it again after you install the BOA. So you can pinch or wet and roll the end of your lines to try to get it through. I used a paper clip here kind of to guide it through. The second one will be a little harder because there's less room. So again, I used a paper clip just to slide it over. And you can wet it and roll it, or you can singe the edges if your line is starting to fray. I found that just rolling it works best. So there are 4 total holes in the BOA. 2 on each side, a small one and a big one. I try to line my boa up the way it's going to go on. Then I'll put the first line through. Once you have that one, hold on to it. Turn it over to the other side and put the other line through the boa. The lines should be parallel to each other once they're installed. And again, the side with the wider hole is ironically going to be harder to install, but just wet the ends of it and roll it. After your lines are through your boa, again, they should be kind of parallel to each other, but you're going to need to tie a knot. We're going to do a figure 8 knot. And you're going to create a loop with one of them. Just there's the first loop. You're going to go under, the first line, the one with the loop. Bring it back over and through the original loop. That's going to create a figure 8 knot. Mine is a little uneven, so it's not so pretty, but we'll fix it. And the goal is to get the knot at the very edge of the line. You don't want to have any line left over. Otherwise, your knot isn't going to fit in the hole, and it's actually going to obstruct the BOA line. So here, it's a little out of frame, but I'm just pulling on the knot, trying to bring it to the very edge. And I'm pulling as hard as I can. And you want to do that because there is going to be a lot of pressure on your line. So if it's going to break, you want it to break while you have the whole thing open. So like you see, it wasn't going in nicely right there. One thing that I'm going to do is singe the edges. This is going to make the line smaller, but it's also going to reinforce that knot and melt some of the material together, so that knot isn't going to go anywhere. If you don't move the knot to the edge, your knot's going to be too big. Here I'm cutting off a little bit of the excess so that it fits a little better. And that's just the tail end of the rope. It's very minimal. You can cinch it one more time for good measure. And then pull as hard as you can. And then just pull on that line, trying to get the knot to sit in the big hole. Remember I said there's a small hole and a big hole on each side. You want it to sit in the big hole so it's out of the way. And then just loop your line around your BOA. As you can see, there's a little slack or unevenness there. We're just going to pull on the lines until that's gone. Put your BOA in their slots and then test out the BOA before locking it in to make sure it's turning in the right direction. If you find that yours isn't tightening, maybe you wrapped your line in the wrong direction. So there we see it going in and we see it going out, which is what we want to see. And again, our BOA isn't locked in. It's just barely on there. It's not really properly installed. And one thing is that we want the lines to be even. And to do that, we're going to have to readjust the placement of the knot. So we're going to do that by removing or giving it some slack and tightening the line around the pulley to where there's going to be no slack left in the line. That's going to let it go in smoothly and it's not going to cause any jams. And after you're done and you've got it working fine, you can press the BOA down and then turn it. If you don't turn it, you're gonna not lock it in. So you have to push it down and turn the actual unit. And then you can test it out a few times for good measure before you close it up. There, it's stiff and it's not going anywhere. And after you've confirmed that it works in both directions, it locks in, you are all set to put your screws and your caps back. Alright, that was it for this video. If you have any questions, you can always email us at warranty@hobie.com, warranty@hobie.com. Thank you.